Hi all, a very good afternoon. And today I'm going to cover in day 8 another hot topic, and that is very much related to our day to day life. Yes, you are absolutely right. Stress management. So, it is day 8 at this time, and it's for women empowerment, mastery program. So, let's begin. Let's begin. And yes, I see a lot of females here. Yeah, a lot of my sweet friends. Yes, Sharanya. Yes, I see Swati. I see Swarna. Yes, lot of yes, Asif. So good afternoon. Yeah. So today I'm going to cover this very important topic, and it's going to be about stress management. So stress is an integral part of our life, right? And how it impacts us. I think everyone knows. Yeah, so a lot of comments coming in. Yes, Seema, you're right, absolutely right. Stress can take a toll on anybody's life. Yes, stress is yes, Shiva. Yeah, stress is really a kind of a feeling, which remains with us and can really take toll on our lives, right? So, going back to one part, I'll go to the definition part, which I normally start. That what is stress? So it's a state of, psychologically it has been defined like this, that it's a state of worry or mental tension which is caused by difficult situations. So stress is a natural human response that prompts us to address challenges and then threats in our lives. So, having said this, we are very much familiar with this term nowadays. What is stress? So, I'm not going to dwell more on that, but it has become a kind of fashionable concept. Sometimes how we perceive stress and how we react to stress, that again defines how we want to proceed in life. So, women who, if you all are here now and you know how stress affects us, it's not only about the stress which is coming to us because of the work pressures or situations in our personal life, but it can also be a physical stress. It could be because of the premenstrual syndrome nowadays in a lot of women, or it could be because of some menstrual cycle related problems. So PCOD has become so common, which is causing another kind of stress in a lot of women. So all these things which are, they were not there in earlier days, but now with the advancement in technology, a lot of exposure to a lot of other professions and irregular lifestyle, or the kind of lack of exercise, or so many other things which are impacting in generation of which are impacting or generating lot of stress in us. So the mental state stress that doesn't go get noticed, it leads to physical stress, right? So most of the people, they cannot cope up with their stress properly, or they cannot deal it with sufficiently. So doctors, scientists, as well as psychologists, they confirm that a high percentage of disease, like today's disease, they have a psycho, like the conditions like diabetes or hypertension, or in fact in areas like oncology. So these are called, they have a psychosomatic cause. Psychosomatic cause. So these diseases are influenced or induced by tensions and pressures or negative attitude towards, like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So these are actually induced by tensions or pressures, or some kind of negative attitude towards life that influences the body and the mind. And in due course of time, we see that there is a medical disorder which comes in, right? So in addition, a highly stressed mind can lose the ethical value, like being human, or respecting others, or having compassion or humility. and caring for others. So all these issues, they come when you have a very less control due to the stress on your mind. So stress is a very high risk factor which we are dealing nowadays in our day-to-day life, right? So right, Shweta, you are perfectly right, because stress generates a lot of anxiety, fear, absolutely. So all can lead to a lot of kind of psychological disorders, as well as physical sickness, like chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer. So it is important to understand the cause of stress, and we have to learn the effective measures which we can take to come out of this situation. In this topic, today's topic, we are going to discuss more about the stress management skills. So, already, yeah, yes. So, stress management itself is a skill, and actually you can develop it over a period of time. You can There are a lot of ways through which you can actually cope up with your stress. Well, let it be a professional stress, or a personal relationship stress, or anything which is related to your health issues. So many things which are available on nowadays on Google. So you can Google and you can find out the way how to manage the stress. Probably you need to first identify what kind of stress you have, and then based on that, probably you can find out the which is the best possible way, which acts as a stress reliever in your case. I'm going to put some of the things here. You can have the network of friends who are very similar, with similar kind of interest. So you can reduce the noise levels around because nowadays you see a lot of exposure to mobile televisions, or any kind of devices which cause noise pollution. Otherwise, there are so many activities, at least in Mumbai. There are so many activities which are going on, construction activities, or some flyovers which are under construction in Mumbai. So that is causing a lot of traffic jams. Cars, drivers, they are honking all the time to get through the traffic. So all these things are causing a lot of increase in the noise levels, which can add to the stress. You can reduce this, and you probably can manage your little stress a bit nicely. Now, also you can put some of the self limitations. So if you are giving more time to social media, or if you are giving more time to the television, you are watching a lot of series, watching a lot of news which is a negative kind of news, or watching some horror movies, or some kind of self limitations on social media, or sleeping on time, having perfect time management. You can limit some of your intake of calories if you really feel that that causes a lot of stress, because then you become get into that another kind of health issue, right? You can also put a lot of stress related things aside if you focus on exercise, if you focus on healthy diet, if you focus on your sleep habits, and in or meditation for that matter. Because recently I went through a very beautiful session of chakra meditation, and which actually it's a kind of meditation practice which gives focuses on a lot of things which are inside us. That is your sacral body. That is your body which is inside, right? Even if you are outside, there is a body inside, and how you can activate some of the energy levels in your body through meditation. So that was a beautiful session, and I must say that such kind of um, uh, you know um, areas can really help us in a better management of stress. What is stress and what is stress management? So, stress, as I said, it's a mental reaction to our body experiences due to the demanding circumstances around us, or events that are happening around us which require immediate action and attention, right? Yeah. So this reaction, if it initiates our nervous system to produce adrenaline and cortisol hormones. So and then they get released in our blood system. So gradually, when there is a lot of stress inside you, then it suppresses the functions of our immune or digestive or reproductive system. So physiologically it impacts us. That is why it becomes essential to handle our stress level very effectively, to keep ourselves physically as well as mentally fit. Yeah, a lot of bulk on moments here. Yes, yes, Sampada, that's true. Because these cortisol and adrenaline levels, if they are elevated or they are suppressed for a longer period of time because of stress, it can really cause us a lot of issues, health issues. I have seen a lot of patients with immune disorder. Their immune system is completely collapsed. There are some issues with the digestion, as well as there are some issues with the reproduction cycle. So all these things which I was mentioning earlier, how it is impacting the POCD syndrome or PMS or cancer or any kind of hypertension. So this is how it affects. So it is very much essential that we have to handle all these stress levels at a very right time and appropriately and effectively, so that we keep ourselves physically and mentally fit. So, having said this, I want to define now stress management. So, stress management itself is a process that helps an individual to control the stress levels by practicing self care or by practicing relaxation techniques, or also in parts, there are so many other techniques which are available nowadays to handle stress whenever it occurs or whenever it comes into our lives. So it is a set of techniques and programs which are intended to help people to deal more effectively with stress in their lives by analyzing the specific stresses, your to minimize their effect on us, right? So this is a kind of definition which comes out from Hale Encyclopedia of Medicine. So yes, yes, I see. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, Rani, you are absolutely right. And lot of people, Rajendra, you are also saying it right. So, Joshi, yeah, you are right, perfectly right. So, I see some comments coming from very well known, psychotherapists here. Yeah. So, this stress management, there are a lot of causes of stress. Before we go to the stress management part, we should also know the causes of stress. The actual cause of stress varies from person to person. So there are so many people, we women, we go through a lot of stress during our childhood. There can be upbringing challenge or some kind of culture which prevails in to your maternal family, and then you have the impact of those abusive, you might be having abusive childhood, or might be having some kind of issues in your marriage, or anything which is related to your children or in-laws. So that can cause a lot of stress. The interpersonal relations also, sometimes they give us a little bit of stress. And most of the times, it becomes very difficult sometimes to cope up with such kind of stress. So, a situation which is maybe stressful for an individual may not be the same for another individual. But for others, yeah, if you see that, these are kind of challenging areas wherein it depends on the threshold of the person, to what extent he or she takes the stress, right? So, the various stressful conditions and situations which plague the mind of many people, right? Many people, these are called stressors. So, these are the situations, these are the conditions which are the stresses in your life. So the stresses are generated by our own perception sometimes, depending on our personal traits, depending upon our thought process, our habits, our upbringing, our culture, available resources, and so on and on. And we can go on and on. And I see, yeah, so many. I had a very abusive childhood. Yeah, somebody. I don't want to name, but yeah, somebody is saying this. Yeah, someone is saying yes. There was some tension in my family. Yeah, and yeah, so they form our mindset, because yesterday I did mention in my growth mindset topic. There are certain kind of perceptions which we form around us and about us also, that can generate stress inside. Yeah, so some people consider financial issues or health problems or conflict in the relationships, or a kind of a person who is not doing good in business or job satisfaction. So these are the sources of conflict, while another person becomes stressed for some mundane issues, like a busy schedule or a time pressure or anything of that sort. So it all depends on the threshold of that person, right? So actually, when the challenges are greater then than our ability to encounter them, we feel stress. Yeah, lot of Balbon moment. So you should know what are the stresses in your life, right? So I see some of the people writing their stressors, and that gives me a lot of insights. People go through a lot of issues in their personal lives as well as professional lives, which can cause a lot of stress. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because these when these challenges which you feel that they're greater than your ability to encounter, then you feel stress inside, right? So, what are the common effects of stress? Yeah. So I will cover them into three categories. Now here for for the benefit of everybody. They come as there are effects which we see, physical effects, we see mental effects, we see behavioral effects. So we also consider stress as a negative impression on our mind. So this is a very, very important statement. You have to understand that whether you are taking stress as a negative impression on your mind. But sometimes a certain amount of tension is always helpful to for triggering a stimulus, or to overcoming the challenging situation, or to do better in life, or to focus on the goals, or to give the best to whatever you do. So a certain amount of positive stress, which is known as eustress, right? So it is vital to enhance your positive energy. Otherwise, every time if you don't have a simple stress, that is a positive stress, you stress in your life, you will always feel that there is no energy left, right? So on the other hand, if there is a negative stress, right? If there is a negative stress which we call as a distress, right? So it is responsible for all kinds of physical, mental, and behavioral problems. So I can name in the physic. I can give examples of physical, stress. Like they ultimately come to our health, right? So heart diseases, stroke, or blood pressure, or headache, or migraine. Sometimes colds. Colitis, diabetes, some allergies, asthma, kidney disorder, or kind of ulcers, and so many, breathing problems. All these are related to physical stress. Yeah. And these are the effects, coming on physical effects which you can see because of stress. Now there are mental effects which you can see because of a lot of stress which you give to your mind. So that results in the mental, kind of depression, apprehension. Then yeah, I see some comments there. Yeah. So irritability, or impatience, or impaired judgment. So some of the examples, negativity. So these are the mental effects of a stress. Whereas if you see behavioral stress, then some people, they do go with a lot of other things, like increased smoking, or loss of appetite, or lack of sleep, insomnia, restlessness, loss of the sex drive, drinking more, being alcoholic, turning into alcoholic. So these are all behavioral effects of the stress. So I see a lot of uh, comments in the inbox, but I'm not going to now take them. Probably I will take them at the end of this session. because it's going to be a little bit more deep today. uh, so we need to understand the importance of stress management. So we have to, even if we start to live with this high level of stress, then it can impact our mental equilibrium, it can impact our physical health, as I said it earlier. So we have to, uh, we get detracted, we don't get attracted to the healthy lifestyle. We even have a high amount of stress which hampers our productivity also at all levels, be it a personal level or professional level. So the ultimate purpose of our life, to enjoy a cheerful balanced life, with timely work, healthy relationships, relaxation in place, and fun moments, these all go down, so we get detracted from this lifestyle. So that is why effective stress management, that is very very essential to handle our stress level effectively. Because whenever it occurs, we have to clearly think, what is essential. We have to perform our professional role, we have to perform our personal roles, where we are mothers to so many young children, we are a dynamic young career oriented women at workplaces. So we have to see that whatever stress which gets generated, we have to have some coping mechanism in place to relieve that stress. So there are various skill techniques which are available nowadays to handle the stress. Yeah, Samiksha, you are saying right. There are a lot of, absolutely, exercise is one of them. You said it, and yeah, meditation. Yeah. So apart from that, there are so many other ways, even at workplace or even at in the business. Those who are entrepreneurs, for them also it is, they have to. There are so many techniques nowadays which are available to handle your profession related stress. So a lot of counseling which takes place nowadays, which was not available in the earlier days. So we are all evolving in these areas and trying to find out the ways to manage our stress. Yeah. So uh, some approaches, they address stress physically as well as psychologically, and they help us to develop our skills of resilience, because resilience is one of the key if we have to manage our stress. Yeah. So some useful stress management techniques, in day to day life, which I want to share with all you beautiful women here, and some male participants as well. So time management is a key thing if you really want less stress in your life. So time limitations can elicit the stress in people. Like sometimes we go for on a weekend party, we don't arrange it on Saturday, we do it on Sunday, and there is a hangover next day. So our productivity or efficiency goes down at the workplace. So this is one of the examples. So work schedules sometimes become overloaded. That is another cause wherein we find that a lot of house office going people, they have late sitting hours at their workplace. So that causes some individuals sometimes to feel overwhelmed. Yes. Yeah, so many of you overwhelmed. Yeah, so many of you feel sometimes, you are so much short of time, or you are so much under pressure. Yeah. So in order to manage this kind of situation, one can make a plan of priorities to do the work accordingly. In one of my sessions recently, I learned about doing a passion test, right? So this passion test is, you have to really give, find out your priorities, at least to begin with at least 30 priorities, and you have to then again prioritize those priorities based on the timelines and the weightage which they carry. So some people, they get into such kind of exercises and they know their priorities so well. So in my other sessions, I do cover such kind of beautiful techniques, to take care of time management. So which I will anyway cover in the next sessions as we go along with this mastery program. So this will help to reduce the stress and even a manageable schedule which we can complete within the time, so we don't get overburdened, we don't feel overwhelmed. We feel that we are giving best, because whatever we have decided as per the timelines, we go with those timelines. One can set up the daily. Beautiful, my beautiful friends, they are putting some comments there, how to set up your daily routine. So daily routine you can set, you can start your day a little early and you can end your day a little early, right? Early to bed, early to rise, right? That gives a, yes, I'm not going to complete that, but yes, because these are effective techniques to manage your time. Maybe the priorities for the day, where you should put that as a list somewhere on your wherever you feel that it is visible, or even if you are doing it in your mobile, then you should know the priorities of the day, and then you can go with those priorities during the day, so that you don't get overwhelmed, if even if something else comes as a surprise during the routine, right? So self limitations. Now, self limitations are, you should know your limitations, where you can take up which kind of goal, what kind of work you can do, what kind of profession you can choose, because that will ultimately elevate lot of unnecessary stress. Yeah. So a lot of bulb movements. Yeah. So when we understand our limitations, we are, sometimes we know that we are best at some thing, and we are not best at some rest of the thing. So we can focus on the things which we are best at, and we can choose those activities accordingly. Or we know our profession, what is the best profession for us, or we know how to set the boundaries for ourselves. So it is essential that we have our own boundaries set for healthy, stress-free living, right? So boundaries mean we can create some internal rules, we for ourselves, for our families, for our near dear ones, with our line managers, with our team, anywhere, because then we can take care of our well-being. Sometimes it is good not to get involved in any kind of racing thoughts, which may also aggravate stress. So I have seen classically, most of the leaders, most of the women leaders, successful women leaders, they have this kind of tendency, wherein they have kind of racing thought, lot of thoughts which go into their mind, and that can make them restless. Yeah, that can create little bit stress, because so many priorities, so many things, and so much eagerness to give the best to the organization, or to the business, or to the entrepreneurship venture, that they get overburdened with those racing thoughts, and that creates some kind of stress. So it is suggested or suggestible, yeah, to deviate your mind in those areas whenever you feel such kind of stress, by getting engaged into some activity like listening to music, or taking a break from your screen, or sometimes singing, or doing some relaxation activities, doing some kind of stretch exercises in between, that can give refreshment to your mind. So those racing thoughts, they really go down. So having said this, now there are a few comments coming, how social network, yeah, so yeah, absolutely, because a supportive network of friends, or like-minded friends, or similar community, or relatives, they help us to face our challenges, or our challenging situations with stability and less stress. I have seen a lot of people, complaining about not having a good support system at home, but you can really work on that. Because I remember my days of my when I was at the peak, or in the growing phases of my career, or when I was at the peak of the career, I always have always had this kind of the thought process, that whether my kids are doing good or no, whether they are being taken care of at home, whether there is everything fine at home. So you should see to it that you have a very good support system in place, because then I actually decided to have a full time support available to me 24 by 7 at home, to take care of some of the cooking activities, or some kind of chores or anything. And then that brought my those stress levels significantly down. So in fact, some relatives, even if they are not the distant relatives or some friend, they relieve our stress, because when we speak to them about our problems or what kind of situation, challenging situations which we are going through, or some physical health issues, then obviously there is a listening ear which is always available, and then we feel like being supported, right? So reduce the noise, which I covered earlier, because now there are so many technologically advanced gadgets which are available to us, and they can actually generate lot of noise. So you can notice that those things which you consider most important for day to day life can also cause lot of noise levels, which can increase your stress. Yeah. Now, another thing which I want to cover is ABC technique. Yeah. So this the well-known ABC technique is about, I don't know if you, how many of you know. Yeah, I see few of you saying yeah, you know that, right? So yeah, yeah. So ABC is, A stands for adversity or stressful situation. B is the belief or the way you respond to the situation, and C is the consequences or the result of your belief. Very, very essential. So you, whenever there is a situation of stress, an adverse situation or a stressful situation, you should know, you should have some belief, you should know how you will respond to that situation, and that can result in a, either in a negative situation or positive situation. So when you are aware of the consequences, that is the C part of ABC, you will own the entire situation, right? So this is was first introduced, this ABC was technique was first introduced by a psychiatrist, Dr. Albert Ellis, and later it was adopted by Martin Seligman. So the purpose of this technique was to think optimistically. Now, some another things which I want to cover today, and I know now everyone is, nowadays everyone is aware of the importance of healthy diet. So, exercises, meditation. So, healthy diet is a balanced diet which can fuel the body and mind to function well. So, it helps us to cope with any stressful situation, right? So reducing the consumption of alcohol or caffeine or any kind of sugar or drug, or taking them in limited quantities can reduce lot of our stress and anxiety. So if our body gets proper nutrients, then probably stress can levels can likely be there, but we can have the coping up mechanism in place, right? So exercise is another kind of technique which maintains our healthy life, which maintains our healthy lifestyle. So whenever you exercise, there are a lot of hormones which get released inside you, and they in turn can reduce lot of your stress levels. So I don't know if you have to activate your muscles. Yeah, please activate movement, because that is very much essential. From last so many years, I have been doing 45 minutes of walking daily, because that is a mechanism which I thought was the best for me to cope up with a lot of things, like it's not only about stress management, but it is also about having a very healthy lifestyle, a healthy thought process, as well as a kind of discipline in my lifestyle, right? So meditation is another technique which I told you, few minutes back, that there are techniques which are like deep breathing or yoga or yogic sleep or meditation like chakra meditation, or there are so many other meditations which are available nowadays to control your physical and mental being, right? So meditation helps us to calm down and focus. The affirmation part of meditation, it actually gives us a different perspective to look at the challenging situations in our life. We actually come out with so many solutions inside us, or the action points we can decide in our own mind when we are actually focusing ourselves in the meditation, because then we become resilient, We become calm, and we know what where to focus on and how to resolve the situation, right? It can be any situation, moment. It can be anything in your current life, but I advise that these exercises and meditation is a very beautiful technique wherein you can spend some time with yourself, with the divinity, and you can get lot of positive energy from that channel to focus on the areas which really demand your attention on day-to-day basis. Now there is another one which I'm going to want to cover is sleep habit. Nowadays, if you see a lot of youngsters or a lot of us for that matter, we tend to we tend to sleep late, and we don't complete our biological cycle, because when we sleep little late, let's say after 12 o'clock, and when the actual digestion starts in the body, that is when, if we are not sleeping on time, the digestion doesn't take place properly. There is always a collapse in that system, and that really gets reflected in your immune power, and also increases. There are some impacts on your mental alertness, memory, or concentration during your meetings or during your conferences or at the business or anywhere. So sleeping is a very important, sleeping on time and getting up on time is a very important, technique which you can use if you really want to relieve your stress. So I'll cover some of the stress which we I feel that over a period of time working in so many multinational organizations, I have seen that stress is everywhere, either be it Indian organization or be it international organization, be it a business or be it your entrepreneurship venture. But it is everywhere, even in your personal relationship. You have a lot of, but now at workplace, I want to cover this part a little deeply, because that can impact a lot of things within the organization. So stress in the workplace, if you see that if you see a lot of absenteeism, or if you see low productivity, that itself reflects that the person is having stress. Yeah. So that's why he doesn't want to come up, and then he or she remains absent. So it is found that employees who are stressed because of something at the workplace, they're likely to take more sick days. They try to become less productive also when they are at work, and they have a high turnover rate. Lot of moments, yeah. Yes, I see. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. See why I am saying on stressing on this samruddhi. It is because that the stress levels can have impact on your work. Yeah, so you will feel less motivated, so you will remain absent on some of the important days, important meetings. There will be always low productivity, you will always be a little stressed, and then you will fall sick. So all these things are indicative of the stress at workplace. Now stress management is very crucial in any organization, because it helps employee cope up with the demands of their job and maintain a healthy work life balance. So that's why if you see most of the organizations or the companies or the businesses nowadays take care of a lot of they have introduced a lot of things within the organization to combat this stress, yeah, in the employees. So when employees are stressed, they may experience anxiety, depression, irritability, and difficulty on concentrating or being focused. So this can lead to absenteeism, presentism, or turnover. And stress management interventions can help the employees to reduce their stress levels and improve their productivity. So having said this, many factors they contribute at the stress, many factors which affect us during which actually increase the stress at work. So for example, nowadays it has become so common that we are having long hours at workplace. There are heavy workloads, and there are unrealistic deadlines. Then there are sometimes lack of break time. People even don't get up for their bio break. There are some poor working conditions. The light, adequate light is not available wherever they are sitting, or there is some job insecurity, or some kind of sometimes with small accessories like printers or kind of desktop, they are not available, so people have to move from one place to another place to complete their job. So all these can increase the stress levels. So there can be some areas wherein there is a personal interpersonal conflict between the co-workers or the supervisors, so that can also cause a lot of stress. So coming to the benefits of employee stress management and how it can impact organizations and the working women, specifically those who are here today, I just want to touch base on some of these. Like, yeah, I see a few. Yeah, yes, yes, it's crucial because that stress management is crucial for a lot of reasons for your own success, for the success of your organization. You are absolutely right, Shweta. So when employees are stressed, they are less productive, right? So that can lead to missed deadlines or some very crucial or critical errors and other issues that can actually impact the bottom line, right? The people below the line of that person. Okay, success can come, but stress levels can lead to a lot of times such kind of very important or very crucial errors. Because I came across with one of the very important, we were implementing SAP in my earlier organization few years back, and the person who was actually the project manager, he did not actually consider some important factors before go live with the SAP in the organization, and because that was not linked to the research and development as well as production, so that led to a very significant, very critical error during the implementation phase. So I'm just giving one example of that so that you understand kind of gravity or the impact of this stress on an individual and then on an organization. So everything went on toss, and then he had to really work once again, prioritizing what can be done. Yeah. So stress, employee stress has been linked so many times to a host of health problems, including heart disease, diabetes, cancer, anxiety, depression, and so many, right? So, yeah, 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 Kavita, you are right. Yeah, 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 Hindu, absolutely, absolutely. Profitability decreases, productivity decreases. Yeah, employee health goes down. So all these, by managing the stress, employee stress, organization can improve in these areas, right? So there are some smart techniques for employee stress management which are available. So few of the things which I see line managers and bosses and HR also taking some of the lead in these areas, like improving the communication within the team or with your line manager or with the cross functional stakeholder. So these are the areas wherein you can reduce a lot of stress, especially if the team is working together on a very important project. So this can be done by ensuring that employees have a clear understanding of their roles and responsibilities, and this can be achieved through regular meetings and clear job description. So this here again, I want to give one example to the women who are hearing to me. I had similar kind of experience in my earlier organization, wherein there was my job description, which was and my role, which was almost similar to the person who was one level higher to me in the organization. But then there was no clear cut division between our roles and responsibilities, and we could experience lot of not lot of, I would say, but few kind of communication errors happening when some mails were directly coming to me, some were going to this gentleman who was there. So all these things, they led to kind of certain kind of miscommunications within the team. So here then I had taken help of human relations in my organization, and we sat clearly with my line manager, and we decided how we can change the job descriptions or the number of projects I was handling and that other person was handling, and how we could have the clear role and responsibilities clearly defined for ourselves. So this is one example. Now, increasing productivity. So how we can increase the productivity by doing the proper stress management? So it is done by setting realistic goals and expectations and providing employees with the resources that they need to meet their goals. So this is also with some of the areas which a line manager or a group leader or the team leader or the functional head or the business head, they do within the team, so that their goals are met and employees are provided with realistic goals, right? So KPI indicators or the good review system, quarterly review system, or every 6 months assessing the goals and targets. Okay, so all this can increase the productivity and reduce the stress, right? Now, reducing costs. So it is also important that this can be achieved by reducing or removing unnecessary stresses, right, from the workplace. So this might include things like unrealistic deadlines or excessive workloads or poor working conditions. So you can reduce the cost by, and so the stress. Yeah. So another thing which I want to capture here was rewards and recognition culture. This is a very important aspect, because when I was speaking to so many within the organizations within my industry, I came across that rewards and recognition, it's a culture which we have to build in, and there are so many organizations which are building this kind of culture within their companies or organizations or businesses, because that keeps the workforce motivating. Yeah. They are always inspired to do better. They work towards excellence. So if you see that how you can quickly set up this, or how you can get started with this, so I can share some of the tips who are the entrepreneurs here or into businesses. Make sure that your team, entire team is on board, and before you start implementing any changes, it is essential to make sure that everybody is on board and they know the idea of rewards and recognitions and that culture. So if you try to implement these changes without buying from your team, you are likely to encounter resistance. So always take into consideration whenever you are defining these rewards and recognition culture, or you want to imbibe that culture within the organization, you have to take the cross functional heads together, sit with them, understand what can be done the best, and giving them the idea that what is your proposal. So define what success looks like. So when you define how the success will look like after completion of a project, or when the critical goals are of the organization are achieved, or if the business is growing by say some numbers, say some 70% or 30%, then what kind of rewards and recognitions are being built during the journey. So what this can do, this can boost the morale of the employees, this can increase the productivity, this can actually engage the employees in a more focused way. So that is how you can actually have the stress levels reduced. Now, some companies, they take help of mental health sessions. So now this is a very common thing which is happening nowadays. But earlier it was a taboo topic, and yeah, I see a lot of comments here again. Yeah, my employer doesn't give that. Yeah, my company doesn't take care of mental health. Yeah, yeah, I know, but this is kind of evolving thing, and there are many organizations who are, they are adapting to this kind of techniques, wherein they actually have the counselor or somebody, a trained professional who's appointed, and you can speak to that person about your mental issues, or if you are having some kind of anxiety or depression or any kind of overwhelming responses, then how you can deal with them. So these trained professional, they guide to these individuals, these employees, and then they put them on the right track with respect to, and then that leads to relieving of the stress, because then at the back of your mind that you have a one channel which is available to you, one way which is available to you to take out your stress, share your worries, and come out with the proper solution. Now, these sessions can help employees to identify the stresses in their lives and develop coping mechanisms to deal with them. So, you know, yeah, I see a lot of yes, yes. We women have a lot of issues when it comes to the mental challenges. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, so when they are discussed with a trained professional at your workplace, probably you can come up with a better solution. You know, they may understand your problem. They may work out with you all together. You know, to resolve the issue and then give you a better working environment. So flexible work schedule, that is another technique, or the work life to get that work life balance. So there is no secret that there are nowadays very long working hours and so lot of burnouts, right? So studies have shown that employees who work more than 40 hours a week, they are at greater risk for developing health problems like anxiety and depression, right? Yeah. So that's why it is important for companies, even the organizations. So if you are having a kind of a business, or if you are having kind of setting up your company or something, you really have to see that you have flexible work schedules for your employees, and you have to promote that work life balance, so that there are less stress levels within the employees, amongst the employees, and they are actually better equipped with more productivity tools, right? So in addition, offering the perks like paid time off for doctor's appointments or errands can also allow the employees that their company cares about their well-being. So I have seen, there was a few years back, I was working in a company wherein I had my weekly off on Friday, and Saturday Sunday used to work. So I used to find it very sometimes challenging, when my whole family used to be at home on Saturday, Sundays, and I used to be at work. So that was creating a lot of, sometimes, some kind of, thought process. Oh my God, I'm not enjoying with my family. And then it was actually, impacting some of my, actions at workplace. So I had a discussion with my line manager, and I was lucky and fortunate enough that then it was like, the Friday and Sunday was given to me. And then I said I'm okay with the compromise salary, but I want to take a weekly off on Sunday as well. And eventually it happened that the company policy also changed, and they made Friday and Sunday as weekly off. So sometimes you need to really be verbal about it, and sometimes you need to speak to your bosses also about it, right? So nowadays, now a lot of companies, they give the freedom of flexible work schedule, so that creates a lot of work life balance. Yeah. So some of the companies, they also take help of this technique, that they have this health and safety measures in place. So like routine regular checkup, medical checkup, or relaxation techniques available at the workplace. Like for some companies, they have set up, most of the MNCs, they have set up the gym, or some relaxation music systems, so that the mental health is preserved. That is how some companies, yeah, some organizations, they are taking care of, right? So some HR professionals, they also are coming up with lot of solutions nowadays, which can change the behavior, productivity, and efficiency levels of the employees. Yeah. So encouraging growth management. Now this is a very important thing which I covered in the last, last in my yesterday's topic. If you have a correct mindset, you know, if the culture builds the correct growth mindset within the organization, within the employees, then people always feel motivated. So that can be like providing opportunities for employment development and training, or encouraging employees to take new challenges and responsibilities, or by supporting employees to achieve their work life balance, or recognizing and rewarding some of the important employees for their hard work and dedication. Now promoting a healthy lifestyle for employees through wellness programs. So all these things can really bring down the stress levels within the organization. Now conflicts resolution. Now there I have seen a lot of time, And I'm sure this is say for many women who are working along with the men in the organization. I'm leading a lot of teams. Yeah. So there are a lot of conflicts which go at workplace. So we have to have the mechanism in place to resolve those conflicts. Yeah. So I see a lot of comments coming in. Yeah, my boss doesn't treat me properly. Yeah, my team doesn't listen to me. Yeah, they don't take my opinion. Okay, lot of so all these conflicts. If this conflict resolution, there is some mechanism or some process which is set up with the HR, then probably the conflict resolution uh, can bring down lot of stress. Yeah, and can increase productivity. So, if you see, many companies nowadays they have introduced regular surveys and feedback. So, based on some identified stress-related situations or challenging situations, or there are some kind of regular surveys which are done. 360-degree approval, appraisal, or sometimes if the person is unhappy at the workplace, then such kind of surveys which clearly identify any areas where employees are feeling stressed or unhappy. So all these surveys and feedback, these are the mechanisms which are, or the initiatives which are taken by any human resources function in the company to check whether there is any stress which is bringing the productivity down. Yeah. So, as a line manager, I always fostered a culture of a positive work culture, because that increases your energy levels. And when energy levels are high, I think there is no stress which comes in. People happily contribute. They happily work for their goals as well as the organization's goal. That can include a lot of team building activities, or taking them to some kind of some kind of outings together, some team dinners, or team get-togethers. All these things can bring in a lot of positive work culture, closeness, bonding amongst the employees, and can help them to bring down their stress levels, right? So some companies, they adopt to the regular communication channels like emails or newsletters or posters, to give information about what is happening around, so that can bring down a lot of anxiety or stress levels which the employee feels with respect to job security or the promotion or the company strategy or the business strategy, right? Because this I'm giving example here, that there are some stressful situation like layoff, or some kind of somebody take merging with some different company. So in those cases there is a lot of anxiety and kind of stress which get generated in many of the employees. So you need to actually put a very open communication channel through regular emails or through newsletters, what's happening, what is the strategy, how the company is going to give layoff, or whether it will be a partial layoff, or how it will be communicated. So that actually it's a way of promoting a positive work culture within the organization to bring down the stress. So, having said this, on a personal level, I just want to take you through my my routine, where how I bring down stress on my personal life, in my personal life as well as professional. So for me, not doing anything, just sitting without doing anything, not a mobile in your hand, not a TV switch on, or you telling others clearly that yes, I want 5 minutes time, and then being there in your own space for 5 minutes, that relaxes you like anything. So another mechanism which is a very beautiful mechanism which I follow, and that is going on for years, is music. I love singing, right? So when I love singing, and I feel I have to give some time to my music. So at least a song, at least few lines of this song, if I keep on doing that every day, whenever I get time, that really relaxes my mind. because we women, especially me, like being a leader in my profession, I always thought, there are so many restless thoughts which come across in my mind, and I want to do so many things at one go, and I sometimes I get restless. Why this is not happening either? Oh, this has to be go this way. Oh, this we can do better. Oh, I can do put more energy into this. So for that, such kind of restless thoughts, I think music is one of the best thing which you can do. Those who like listening, they can listen. Those who like singing, they can sing. Yeah, you can also pursue one of the hobby, whatever you are passionate about, whatever you felt that you did not do in the childhood, or if you had time you could do this, so do that, because at least take out half an hour, or at least half an hour or 2 hours in a week, you can give it to your hobby, right? Meditation is another thing which I practice. As I said earlier, that I have learned at least 3 4 techniques of meditation, so I see to it that I at least go with one meditation technique. Now therapy, there are a lot of people who go with the therapy techniques. Some go with the reiki, some will go a lot of theta healing or such kind of therapy. But yeah, that's the thing which you can do. Like, I like massage therapy, so sometimes when I feel that, okay, I'm a little bit stressed, I go to the my beauty expert, and I get my manicure and pedicure done, because that gives me a kind of relaxing therapy. Yeah, sometimes you also need to have some motivation, so I like to get motivation by reading lot of things, or being with the people who are like-minded people, doing some community services, so that motivates me, right? So I do that for a longer period of time from my earlier days. Now, travel is another thing which I love, because then that is where I have seen a lot of countries now. Yeah, I know someday I want to visit the interior parts of Europe, and just to relax there, and spend some time or days there. Yeah, so you can travel, you can see a lot of destinations, you can see a lot of cultural differences when you travel to different nations, different countries, different locations within India. You can see the beauty, you can be in contact with the nature, and you can get that nourishment from the nature. So this can bring down your stress level. Exercise is another thing. Sometimes I train to go for walks. Sometimes I do the walks by Leslie. Yeah, so she gives a lot of good exercises in the areas of walking, so you can do it from home. Sometimes I do Zumba, sometimes I prefer yoga. So all kind of exercises, whatever you feel like you can do, but I stick to all these media. So this is my routine which I wanted to share with you. Now, I also want to touch base upon the stress for entrepreneurs, because that is the area where when you are starting something on your own, and you don't have anybody to support you, you know, then there can be a lot of stress which can get generated. So sometimes, like, financial matters, right? So finding funding, or collecting the receivables, payroll, burn rate, cash flow. These are some of the challenges. These are all very well known expression for the entrepreneur. So and they can create a lot of stress. Now, sales issues. Now, sometimes when you are starting you're an entrepreneur, you don't know how to close the sale, or you don't know the economic downturn, or you have a customer loss, you are not able to find new customers, or you are in the process of finding new customers, or dealing with or demanding customers. So all these can generate a lot of stress. So a lot of well-known moments here, because I see a lot of entrepreneur females here, and I'm so happy that you all are here and we are actually discussing this. Yeah, so I am able to see a lot of your comments, and I am going to. You can get in touch with me on my enduringgenesis@gmail.com. You can also ping me on my WhatsApp 9833381769. I'm reiterating again. There are so many, yeah, because I see a lot of females here who are into new startups, yeah. So managing employees is another challenge for entrepreneurs, because when you become an entrepreneur, you also become the HR officer or CEO of your own company, right? So you need to decide, which fires to fight and which fires to ignore, right? So when you are in that learning curve, you have to be really patient, otherwise there can be lot of stress generation. Okay. So uh, sealing the business now, sometimes, we entrepreneurs, we also have to shut down some of the businesses. We have to move on to the new businesses. And when we realize that all the knowledge we have accumulated until we were brought to the business at that current level, we are failure, so we get that kind of feeling. So when we are in that process, there is always a stress level which gets generated, because we have anxiety also that going to the next business level, what kind of things will come, right? So as Einstein quoted, that you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So when you are moving, the women, friends, my sweetheart, when you are moving to the new businesses, always remember that you cannot solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. So when you learn something from your earlier business, try to see to it that you have to have a different mindset to deal with that same problem in the new business, right? So having said this, I'm moving to the next one, that is the work overload. So you need to learn to delegate when you are an entrepreneur. So always see to it that, but before you need to find the people to delegate to, and you need to train them, right? So that can also cause a lot of stress, but make sure that you hold the same version about the future of the company as you do, because that is very important. So if you are delegating your job to somebody, he or she also has to be passionate about having the same goal like you. So this can also generate lot of stress. Yeah. So there is again a responsibility pressure which builds in for entrepreneurs. So you cannot do it alone. So when you have that feeling that you are not alone, or when you have the feeling that you are alone, your responsibility goes towards your employees, customers, suppliers, your family, and then always there is a race pressure, right? So when the responsibility pressure is more, you feel lot of stress. So you have to find out how you have to strike the balance between all these things. Now balancing work and professional life or personal life, it is the same thing, where to draw the line. So when you are an entrepreneur, I have seen that 24 by 7 it is there in the mind. So we have to have the habit that we have to take out the time from the mind and enjoy with our family, right? So wearing too many hats one at once. So again, this is a very important challenge for entrepreneur, because they have to wear so many hats at once, and that also only on our head, right? So that can create a lot of stress inside, right? So working alone, that is a kind of feeling, or dealing with ambiguity when there is some uncertainty in the market, there is no possibility of a great future, or the plans are not working based on your assumptions. So all these can create lot of stress. But you need to understand that these are all dynamic situations, and they keep changing with the time, and you need not give up. So when you are in that relaxed frame of mind, you always give your best. So, having said this, you know, I also want to give some tips to the entrepreneurs. You have to be grateful for what you have. So, a good way not to sweat on the small stuff when things do not go as per your, plan. Then you have to be grateful for what you have. Failures or setbacks, they do not actually negate the positive things that has already happened to you. So understand this, and never ignore your accomplishments. So keep focusing on the right things. So when you focus on the right things, on the right targets, on the right area, then you don't have time to get another stress or something like that in your life. So perfection is a unique one, but you don't have to do everything perfectly every time. As I covered in my area, like perfectionism and excellence, you always don't have to be 100% perfect, but you have to see to it that you always have the processes in place which lead to the excellence. So always find out those mechanisms. Yeah. Always delegate, delegate, delegate. That is my advice when you are growing your business and you have so many things to handle. Instead of focusing only on one area or all other areas all together, you doing everything, that cannot. So you have to have the habit of doing the delegation. But now, uh, you also have to take care of yourself, because when you are an entrepreneur there are so many things which you have to handle. So if you are physically and mentally hit, then you can give your 100%. So adapt some kind of stress mechanism to cope up with the stress, like as I covered earlier, exercise, diet, routine, yoga, meditation, anything. Now escape from the every day. So sometimes you take a day out, you go on a vacation and enjoy with your family. That you can do without worrying on what is happening with the customer, whether the customer is happy or not, or what is happening with your other colleague, your staff. You don't have to worry. You can take a day vacation and go out and enjoy with your family, or give time to yourself. Maintain a supportive network. So when you have a like-minded community and you grow fast, that is a universal truth. And nowadays it is so important that every single business or every single venture is dependent on somebody else. So you when you have a better networking, you can always get support from that particular community or the group, and you can always grow together. So you always have to have a plan. So when you are in entrepreneurship area, you don't have to have a big kind of things happening every day. You have to have a plan. What are the things which you want to prioritize today? As I said, take your passion taste and see to it that whatever planning which you have done for week wise plan, or the bi-weekly plan, or the month wise plan, everything is happening as per that, right? Now, takeaways. So, I just want to conclude this part with some of the beautiful quotes which I really love every time I want to conclude my session. So, there is one thing about stress which is clearly by uh, uh, a few great business leaders. So there is one which is by Simon Sinek, which he says that stress and anxiety at work have less to do with the work we do, but it has more to do with the leadership and the weak management. So this is a kind of wow thing for me, because when you feel that there is a lot of stress and anxiety, it is not because of the way you do the work, it is because of lack of leadership, because of weak management. So understand that if you are weak in time management, if you are weak in your interpersonal skills, if you are weak in your leadership, then this there can be lot of stress and anxiety coming in. Now there is second quote which is from you know kind of from Indra Noy. So Indra Noy says, when you assume negative intent, you are angry. If you take that anger and assume positive intent, so I'm just giving one example. Before I quote this, that if you assume negative intent, then obviously you are angry. But if you assume positive intent, you go with the positive intent, right? So you take away that anger, and you will be amazed. Your emotional quotient goes up because you are no longer almost random in your response, right? So when you have a clear response to your anger, when you have decided what kind of response you want to give it to your anger, whenever somebody comes with a poor intent or negative intent, still you take it positively and you control your response, then things work out well, and the stress levels are always down. So what a beautiful quote from Indra Nooyi, who is the PepsiCo CEO. So if you feel like you are losing, that there is another beautiful quote, if you feel like you are losing everything, remember, trees lose their leaves every year, and they stand tall and wait for better days to come. Wow, this is such a beautiful quote. We say that the every season which creates stress, challenging situation, difficulty, it's a passing phase in our life, and we have to learn to withstand to those kind of situations, and have to have that attitude of not giving up, so that we have the energy, we have the positive mindset to wait for the better to come. Yeah. So having said this, you know there is another one which is coming from a very well-known designer. Her name is Nessika Henner. And she says being in control of your life and having realistic expectations about your day-to-day challenges are the keys to stress management, which is perhaps the most important ingredient to living a happy, healthy, and rewarding life. So, in short, if you are in control of your life, and if you are having the only the realistic goals and expectations from yourself in your day-to-day life, then probably that is the key to the stress management. You will not get stressed and you will focus on what you have to do, and that will lead to a happy, healthy, and rewarding life. So, ladies, this is, I know this is a very important topic, and I am sure that I have given a lot of uh, uh, tips to you about how you can deal or cope up with your stress, be it a personal life stress, be it a stress at a professional level, when you are starting something new in your life or anything. So, having said that, I'm going to sign off from this particular session, and I just want you to, if I can, after this session, if I can put somewhere in the comment box about my detail, because some people, some of the participants, they asked me, ma'am, we want your Gmail ID. So I'm sharing my email ID, and I'm also going to share my reference of my Facebook page as well as Instagram handle, so you can reach out to me anytime, and I will be very happy to help out or to support my beautiful friends, my beautiful women here who are so talented, and they want to grow in every areas of their life. Most of them are really doing good in their life. That is such a blessing, that they are doing lot of good things in their life. There is lot of awareness about the stress levels in their life. They have some of the coping mechanisms which I see from the comments box in place. So I'm very 100% sure that, with these sessions, me being there and helping you out, probably you can always rely on me, depend on me for any kind of guidance or any kind of suggestions or any kind of advice. So get in touch with me, and I will be very happy to support you. Yes, I am Smita. Yes, I will be. So, having said this, I'm signing off, and we'll meet you tomorrow with a very different topic. And as we are going towards the, number 9 days, 10 days, and then so on, I'm also going to focus on most of the soft skills, which are my domain area, and also on some of the empowering skills, which are very much essential for the growth and development of all of us. So I come from your community, ladies, and that's why I'm so happy to help you out. So signing off now. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.